It is time for the inaugural, official, unprecedented, land breaking, record breaking, something or other, whatever the hell you want to call it, because this is the very first fourth and long mock draft.
First ever. You guys are in for a surprise. Like no one else has seen this happen before.
You
We
know,
haven't
there's
seen this
there's
happen
some
before.
guys like they called what, Mel Kiper, got other guys who actually do mock drafts for a living. They got nothing on us. I'll tell you
At
that
all.
much right now.
There's nothing like a fourth and long podcast.
Nah, nah. This mock draft, what's going to happen? Pick for pick. That's it, it's written in stone. So what we did, we went and got the insider scoop. We talked to every single team. We talked to every single team's draft officials,
We
and we
went to
pretty much
all
just
their
wrote
draft
down.
prospects. We talked to all the prospects of where they think they're gonna go.
We just wrote down everything. And
Wrote down
this,
everything.
if this isn't a mock draft, this is the draft. It's not a prediction. It's a spoiler.
We're spoiling the draft for you. There's no other way this could go. We
Hey,
have Tom Brady getting
we
traded
warned
for
you
a sixth
now,
round pick.
right? We warned you now. Spoiler alert. But let's get into things, Jalen. But before we start this first round,
All
who do
right.
you think has the chance for most movement between picks? What player?
So kind of like a faller, but not technically a faller in the draft. More of just like you don't know who's gonna pick him type movement. I would say Isaiah Simmons.
Okay.
He is definitely going in the top 10. I don't think he's falling out of the top 10, but I do. When I did my mock drafts, there was a couple of times the Lions could have taken him, the Giants could have taken him, the Panthers won him, even
Hmm.
the Dolphins might take a chance on him and try to trade back up and get one of those guys like Fromm
Yeah.
or somebody instead of taking Tua. Or also at number 8, he also could have gone to the Cardinals. So I just think even though he's limited to that top 10 ranking, I mean that top 10 teams,
Mm.
he pretty much could go to almost any of those top 10 teams. What about you, Ross?
I dig it. I think my guy that might have the most movement because uncertainty of who exactly is going to draft him, but it's offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs.
Mm.
I think he's a good fit for a multitude of teams,
Mm.
but I'm not sure which team is going to want to draft him necessarily, or which team is going to give to him first.
I actually had
Because
one weird mock draft where the Dolphins, instead of taking a quarterback at number 5, they ended up taking Tristan Wirfs at 5.
hey, Jalen,
It was a weird one. Yeah.
listen in then because we're going to get started. The number one overall pick, I think almost like 99% of people that make mock drafts could. This is who they have. It's Joe Burrow to the Bengals, right?
Yeah. I don't
Come on,
I did a
especially
whole
after
bunch of simulations and he always went
it,
there.
it's always going to be him. It has to be, especially ever since there is maybe a little speculation that they might skip on Joe Burrows, but as soon as they sign AJ Green to a franchise tag, it told the future.
And kind of the fact that they are still kind of shopping Andy Dalton.
Yeah,
They pretty much have
come on now.
guaranteed he's going to be gone by the time season starts. Kind of shows you're drafting a quarterback, and you're most likely going to draft
Hey,
the pretty much
what's
what everybody thinks is Joe Burrow.
and Dalton's going to be traded on one of the draft days.
I think he's going to go to the Patriots. I honestly think he's going to the
I think someone
Patriots.
else is going to go to the Patriots. We'll get to that in a second. Number 2 overall pick, the Washington Redskins select Chase Young.
Ooh, yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good pick there. I don't see him falling. I don't see anybody else you could put there.
no. Well, it's because he's arguably the best overall talent, but the Bengals need the quarterback. That's why they're taking Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
Number and they're going right with Dwayne Haskins. They kind of have to. They
yeah.
invested a lot into him. You got to at least give him a second season.
Yeah, you got to give him a second season. So draft if you draft a quarterback here, that's kind of like the Cardinals did it, but that's kind of is a big difference between Dwayne Haskins and the quarterbacks this year than there was Joe
But
than there
I
was
do see if they were to draft a quarterback, I see a lot of similarities between Josh Rosen and Dwayne Haskins.
yeah, they do have a lot of similarities, which is why
A
I
lot.
wouldn't be mad if they
Maybe
took a
not in terms
quarterback
of
here.
like actual quarterback skills or play
Yeah,
styles, but in terms of situation and circumstance.
yeah, and how their first years went and how they came out.
How
I
the
do
team that drafted him totally ruined them and ruined their career.
pretty much, yeah. But I do see if they end up making a choice to like take a quarterback in the first or second round, I definitely don't put it past them. Oh, especially with Ron Rivera up there now, that they take a quarterback and get rid of Dwayne Haskins for a second
Well,
rounder.
just kind of wait on Cam Newton to rejoin Ron Rivera, right?
Oh
No,
yeah, that'd be
maybe
nice.
not. Probably
Nah,
not, but
maybe not. Cam Newton said he wouldn't join any team that drafts a first round quarterback.
number
So we'll
three.
see.
Let's go to number three with the
The,
Lions. They are going to select Jeffrey Oku- Okuda.
Okuda. Yeah.
Okuda, quarterback.
Okuda.
Yes. You get another defensive guy to aid Matt Patricia, the defensive-minded head coach there ever since he left the Patriots. Did a lot of good with the Patriots, but he hasn't really had much in terms of players to actually use in Detroit. And this is going to be a good defensive key for them.
Yeah, I think definitely with trading of Darius Slay, this is definitely the move to go with. And one of my simulations, the Lions actually went with Derek Brown, the
Hmm.
D lineman out of Auburn, which is also a great choice by them.
Yeah,
I think that this DB class, while it's not deep, there's definitely some guys late first round that might fall to the second round and third round that can definitely uh, still make day one impacts. So if they did go Derek Brown here, also, I still think that that would be a great pick, but I definitely think they'll go Okuda here.
I think so too. So we agree on that one as well.
Yes, we do. Three
Oh.
should be Okuda.
Number four. Here we go. This is where you might see a little differentiation now.
Yeah,
The
it's
New
very
York
much.
Giants, they're going to roll into the future with Daniel Jones, which is okay. Cool
Mhm.
with that. You got Daniel Jones and you got Saquon Barkley. Great duo right there. Now you need a guy to protect him, and who better than Tristan Wirfs?
Mm. Nice, nice. I like that.
Or
I like that. That's a great position right there. Um, I think they should go with Tristan Wirfs or just a tackler guard in general.
Mhm.
I think Wirfs would probably be the best choice here, especially now that a lot of rumors are going around saying that they will go with a guard. I think there will be a guard. Another thing I saw was they are really interested in Isaiah Simmons going here at a four. So if they were to go him too, that'd be nice. But I think with your now future the quarterback you think is the future of your franchise and the running back that is future of the NFL. I think you definitely have to protect them and allow running lanes to open up. So I
Mhm.
think you definitely go offensive line here.
So you go number. Who are you taking number four then for the New York?
I see what that's the thing is I'm trying to figure out if this is a smoke screen because they're them saying that they're taking a tackle. I don't know if that's a smoke screen,
Mm.
but at the same time, I feel like they're way too high up. Like pretty much, if the Lions don't take Isaiah Simmons, he's going to be there at four. So there's no one to really trick out here. So it's kind of like I think they'll take a tackle. So I would say Tristan Wirfs goes four, and Isaiah Simmons falls. But I wouldn't be
Okay.
surprised if this was a smokescreen.
Here we go. Here's a question now for number five. We had the Miami Dolphins.
Mm,
A lot of people, there's a lot of speculation around them that they might skip on Tua Tagovailoa,
yeah,
and that wouldn't surprise me too much. It would be a little weird because you would have to. That means you still have Ryan Fitzpatrick,
yeah,
but
and Josh Rosen.
yeah, you still got Josh Rosen who may develop.
He may
And
at some
here we
point.
go, Jalen. I'm a, I'm a, I'm a bite. I'm a bite on this one. I'm gonna believe the rumors. The
Mm,
Dolphins are going to pass on Tua Tagovailoa, and instead they're going to take the the biggest player in the draft, 6'7", 368 pounds. He is an offensive tackle from Louisville. He's a dude that ran he's like an unhuman 40-yard time for how
yeah, that was
big he is.
nice.
Mekhi Becton is going to the Miami Dolphins.
Wow, that's a good one right there. I didn't think of that one. I do see them taking a tackle. I think they'll definitely go offense. Their offense is the problem, but they
Mm-hmm.
did get rid of Fitzpatrick, the other Fitzpatrick, Minka.
Mika.
Yeah, I was trying to think of his name, Minka Fitzpatrick. So I do. They could go defense, but uh, I think if since Okuda's off the board, you
Mm-hmm.
kind of have to go offense here. There's
You
not
go
really any
Tua.
other. Yeah, I don't think there's any other DB I would take this high up. So I think I would go Tua because they definitely need that quarterback. But if they were to go offensive line, I would say I would go Tristan Wirfs if he was there. But if he's
Mm-hmm.
not there, I definitely take a quarterback, even if it's Tua or Justin Herbert. I would think they take a quarterback.
Tua is probably the smart decision.
Tua's
He
definitely
is.
smart
Let's see. Joe Burrow's had the number one over the best in college football history, the best passer rating in a season,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Tua had the best passer rating in a career. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of you could really make an argument that Tua is a better quarterback in this draft. You can make a lot of argument that Joe Burrow is a better
I
quarterback in this
think if
draft.
Tua wasn't hurt, he would definitely be the choice here. Joe Burrow would definitely be
Both
the number two
all
quarterback.
we know is both of them are amazing. It's like 1A, 1B.
Yeah, it's
Like
like
the wide
they're both,
receivers. Yeah, 1A,
they could both
1B,
easily
1C.
be. Yeah, it's kind of
Exactly.
like, what are you looking for? What do you want? They're both great quarterbacks in their own uh, self.
Exactly. See, Jalen, now this takes us to the number 6 overall draft pick. This
Yeah.
is the Los Angeles Chargers. And Los Angeles Chargers need a quarterback. They want to roll with Tyrod Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not going to. At least not in the future, because the San Diego Chargers, a lot of speculation. I was thinking for agency they might go after Cam Newton as well. But hey,
Mm-hmm.
let's look to the draft because the Dolphins passed on them, but the Chargers won't. Tua Tagovailoa is going to be drafted by the San Diego Chargers or Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, that's a swear jar.
Swear jar. I'll
Swear
admit it.
jar.
Swear jar.
Here at this pick, I think Tua does go 5. I think the Dolphins would be kind of stupid to not take a quarterback here. I think you get rid
But
of
it is a
Fitzpatrick.
Dolphin, so you don't want to give them too much credit.
I think you take Rosen, Fitzpatrick, and Tua into for the Dolphins. I think you take them all into preseason, and then you get rid of either Fitzpatrick or Rosen. But here at 6, I think the smartest choice to go here is you take a quarterback of the future in Justin Herbert. Let Tyrod Taylor play this season and maybe next season. Let Herbert develop and then play that third season. That's the smartest choice. But honestly, if they're being 100% honest, we are fine with Tyrod. We don't mind waiting a year to draft a
Sorry, Jay,
quarterback.
please, before you continue, I need to correct you. This is what he says, Brown. It's Tyrod Taylor, if you remember.
Is Tyrod? I thought it
It's
was Tyrod.
Tyrod. No, it's Tyrod.
It's Tyrod.
He made that difference in a he let everyone know in the interview when he was still with the Browns.
Yeah, I never saw that. Okay,
Fun
Tyrod.
fact, it's Tyrod Taylor.
Every single time I see somebody mention his name, is they say Tyrod, and so the only way I've heard it is Tyrod.
Exactly.
Tyrod. I apologize for that. Tyrod Taylor.
Hey, that's just what we do. We provide professional and high quality analysis, even when it comes to the proper way of names.
Exactly.
You're welcome, sports world.
But I think if they're being 100% honest that they're sticking with Tyrod Taylor, they trade back from 6. I think that'd be the smarter choice. If you're 100% not taking a quarterback here, I think you trade back from 6. There's not really anybody that they need immediately, and I think I would definitely, with how stacked this draft is, I think I would trade back and get a couple more picks, maybe in the second or third round.
And there would be nothing wrong with that. That could be just a smarter move overall.
Yeah, but I'd go Herbert.
For sure. Jalen, here we go. Number 7, the Carolina Panthers. You're talking about this guy, might do a lot of moving. Isaiah Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And he's moving to the 7th spot because the Carolina Panthers are going to have to find a guy that can replace Luke Kuechly, or at least try to fill the void for the time being. There is no replacing Luke Kuechly because he's a Hall of Famer. But, hey, you can give it a shot with Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, you can give it a shot. He's definitely a top-rated prospect. He plays safety, linebacker, corner, offensive line, defensive line.
Most people have this name for guys that play receiver, cornerback, and return specialist. They just call them athlete. Mm-hmm. This dude, Isaiah Simmons, he's no athlete. He's athlete. Athlete with the F.
Athlete. He's a Swiss Army knife of the defense. We see a lot of players who can play a lot of positions on the offense and defense. I think he's one of those players where not only does he play safety and linebacker, but if you need him to be just a straight up edge rusher, he can do that. If you need him to go cover tight ends, he can do that. If you need to cover almost like I could see him covering some slot guys in the NFL, he could do that. So I just think he's pretty much a great pick. I don't think he drops past 7. Honestly, I hope he does. As a Cardinals fan, I hope he does.
Yeah. So you think he's taking number 7 too?
I think he's taking somewhere in the top 7. I think any team after 1 and 2 could take him. Honestly,
yeah.
And there nobody would complain. Anybody in the top 10 who gets him is not going to complain.
Exactly. Let's see, Jalen. Time for the Cardinals pick, number 8 overall in this draft. So who they take? Number 8.
For me, I think honestly at this point, if everyone takes what everyone thinks everyone in the top 7 is going to take. The Cardinals are most likely going to go Tristan Wirfs here. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there's still a lot of rumors going around that they don't care that they have DeAndre Hopkins and everybody else. They're still going to go CD. Honestly, wouldn't be mad if they did that either. We have a stack receiving core. But
Mm-hmm.
I think, in my opinion, as a Cardinals fan and an analyst and a podcaster and all that, I think the smartest thing to do is trade back at this point. I think if you trade back, you could trade back with a couple of teams. We'll talk about that later. There's a couple of teams that are looking to trade up, and I think you trade back, you get your second round pick back, you get a fifth round pick back because of how good this draft is. There's a lot of holes that the Cardinals need to fill still, or at
Mm-hmm.
least gain strength at, and they don't have enough picks to do that yet. So I think you trade back here. But if all in all, I would say Tristan Wirfs, Mekhi Becton, or Wills from Alabama, one of those linemen. I would see them if they stick at 8. I would go with one of those linemen.
So you go with one of those linemen. I'm about to disagree with you, Jalen,
All
personally.
right.
I think that with that DeAndre Hopkins trade, that really, I was expecting the Cardinals to get a fast wide receiver, really help out Kyler Murray in his second season, and
hmm
have a guy to complement Larry Fitzgerald on the other side of the field.
hmm
But it might be the former offensive lineman in me, but especially with that DeAndre Hopkins right now, the Cardinals can definitely pick offensive lineman now. I thought they should do this before they drafted wide receiver to really help Kyler Murray, because one of the things that hurt him, the thing that hurt Josh Rosen, was the Cardinals' lack of pass defense or pass blocking. It wasn't
hmm
good. You know
No.
this, I know this, the
Sacked
whole
50
NFL knows
times last
this.
season. Yes.
You can't expect it to thrive as a quarterback under those conditions. So you
Not
got to
at
get a big guy to protect you. And there are some bigger guys, but they went earlier. But there's still a huge guy, 6'5", 320. This is Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle at Georgia.
That is a good pick. That is
He's
a
going
that
to
is a
secure
big
that
boy.
line.
That
He's
is
a
a big
big,
boy.
big boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
like it. Yeah, that is fine. I'll be fine with that too.
here we go. Number 9. Now we have the Jaguars, and they're going to pick interior defensive lineman Derek Brown. You got, especially with after Calais Campbell leaving, I know he's more of an edge, but you got to secure up that defensive line a little more. And I think that Derek Brown is the best interior defensive lineman that this draft has to offer.
hmm
And you got to pick him up. You got to.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, here, uh, the Jaguars still have a couple of trading chips with their couple of DNs. I forget I believe it's in Guakwe. They
Hmm.
still have him to trade. I think they can use him as a trading chip to trade back into the second round. I think here, with Jalen Ramsey no longer there, Boye's no longer there. I think you go corner here. If they don't trade up, I believe they take the second best corner right now in the draft, which is C.J. Henderson. I
Hmm.
think he'd definitely be a good fit there. You kind of like their D line is still decent. Like
Hmm.
even though they lost a lot of people on that D line and their rushers, I think their D line is still decent with who they still have. I think you can fill it with a lot of day 2, day 3 picks, and they'd be fine. So I think they go C.J. Henderson here and fix up that secondary.
That's very fair. Here we go. Number 10, the Cleveland Browns. Assuming because some of the rumors are, of course, the Broncos are interested in taking the Browns' number 10 spot. The Broncos want to move up, and so they can get in front of the Jets and the Raiders, two teams that are likely going to be selecting wideouts. And so the Broncos, who also want a
and
wideout,
and the
they're trying to jump
49ers.
them, and the Niners as well. That's correct. That 11, 12, 13, all probably going to be wide receivers.
hmm
So the Broncos want to jump those. So who knows? But currently, it's number 10. The Browns are going to take an offensive tackle, maybe trying to fill in the hole that Joe Thomas has left them over the last couple seasons. Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle out Bama.
Nice, nice. For mine, I actually had one of your guys you had going earlier. I had him falling, and I
Ooh.
actually had Mekhi Becton going 10 to the Browns. I had him dropping a bit. Not even for any reason specifically. It was just a lot. I felt like the top of the draft is going to be skill player dominated. I feel like the middle of
Mhm.
the draft is going to be middle of the first round is going to be very offensive line receiver heavy. So I had Mekhi Becton falling down to 10 to be taken by the Browns.
That's very fair. We agree, though. They're going to take offensive tackle. Kind of
Yeah.
the same logic you can use for the Cardinals. you got to help Baker Mayfield. He's a young,
Yeah,
developing quarterback who still has a high ceiling, I believe.
yeah.
And you got to help out your
You have to give him a
quarterback.
chance. You had to
You
give him a
can't,
chance to
no
perform,
quarterback, no matter how good they are, cannot succeed in the NFL, especially today more than ever, without a good offensive line in front of them.
especially with guys like Simmons
See, offensive
and
linemen,
Derek Brown coming into the
linemen
league.
win games, bro. You got to have it. You
Yeah, you
got
gotta
to
have
have
hope.
it. So let's move into number 11. This is the New York Jets. The Jets are going to take a wide receiver. They got to get the wide receiver to help out your quarterback that sees ghosts.
Yeah, that he should never have said that.
Never
That
going to
was
live that
bad.
down.
He
Never
never
going to
should
live.
have said that. He
Never.
should
He could be
dress
a
up
Hall
as
of
a.
Fame quarterback.
I would
And
say
so,
he should dress up as a ghost for Halloween, but that might come off wrong.
as long as it's not pointed.
I'm glad we both got that joke.
Oh, of course. Come on now, Jalen. It's us.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Uh,
the Jets are going to draft Henry Ruggs the third.
ooh, Henry Ruggs is the first receiver off the board.
I think he is. I think one of the things I want to highlight is for a draft that is fairly quarterback heavy, definitely wide receiver heavy. There are, let me see, I had 4 offensive linemen taken in the first round to no wide receivers taken in the first round.
Oh.
That is just how important. It might be my bias. It might just be my beliefs of nice ground and pound, run the ball football team and have a great offensive lineman in front of you. But hey, it's tried and true. It's proven. You have to have the best teams in the league are the ones with the best offensive linemen. That's usually how it goes. At least there's a strong correlation to that. So you got to build the offensive line.
Yeah, I definitely see them going receiver here. I think they can go with pretty much any of those top 3 receivers, and then Ruggs, Lamb, or Judy. I think they can go with any of those. I think since their quarterback's seeing ghosts, that they should go with a tackle who I had falling, who you had going earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I didn't say him for the Cardinals was Andrew Thomas goes number 11 to the Jets, and the Jets try to trade back in to grab one of those back end first rounders.
I like it. I like it. I like having a little mobility like that. I can really throw the monkey wrench in. Here we go. Number 12, the newly made Las Vegas Raiders. It's still, I really had to prep myself going to the show to, it's Las Vegas. Las Vegas, not Oakland.
Las Vegas, no swear
Las
jar.
Vegas. No swear jar. Already messed up once now. We had Blake messed up real bad last week.
Yeah, a couple times.
We're professional, man. We gotta be good with this. The Las Vegas Raiders are going to select CD Lamb.
Ooh, my thing. The only reason I want the Cardinals to kind of draft CeeDee Lamb is just because I don't want the 49ers or Raiders to get him. I feel like that's kind of one of the main reasons. Like if they weren't looking for a receiver this year, I'd be fine with not drafting CeeDee Lamb. But I just really don't want those 2 teams to get him.
Yep, that's totally fair.
I definitely see them taking a receiver. I think the Raiders, just because they hate the 49ers, just as much of a lot of us do, I think they take CD Lamb because the 49ers think CD Lamb is their guy, falling down to 13. I think just to piss them off, I think they take CD, not only just to piss them off, but CD is a great receiver. But I see them most likely. I see them going with either CD Lamb or Ruggs. I don't see them taking Judy, but I definitely think they take one of those 2 receivers.
All right, here we go. Might be a little different. Might have to because you were saying Niners wide receiver. I disagree. Not on the first night because Niners are going to go on the opposite side of the football, cornerback. They're taking a big guy, like you said, second best cornerback in the draft, CJ Henderson.
That would be a good pick. If he falls past, I would definitely think that would be a good pick for them. I think right now with Richard Sherman, I think they're kind of solidified there. Just like he'd be a good opposite across, but I think
like the opposite, and I'm not. I think Richard Sherman, if anything, he's on the decline. You saw him in the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah,
I know it's the Chiefs. I know it's the super fast wide receivers, fastest in the league, but the dog was getting burned.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I think the majority of the NFL doesn't see Richard Sherman. Like we see it as a fall off. I think me and you both agree it looks like a fall off at the moment. It does look like a fall off. He could prove me wrong, honestly. I hope he does.
If you got through it, if you bring a young guy like CJ Henderson as a rookie, there's not very many people in the league that would be better suited for him to learn from. like Richard Sherman.
This is true. That's very true. I think my opinion is I would go CD Lamb here. I feel like when you don't, because if you look at the receiving core right now, they have a lot of young guys that could produce, honestly. But do you really want to just throw all that on them right now, to be just those two guys to
Mhm.
perform? So I think you take a first round in CD Lamb here and hope that he performs the way everyone thinks he is, and kind of takes the pressure away from Samuel and Bond and a couple
Mhm.
other receivers up there. I think you definitely do that, or you try to sign some veteran presence there. But
All right.
I think they take CD here.
Mhm. Let's go number 14, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this is a team that just signed, made a huge splash, taking Tom Brady, signing him off of free agency. TB12 is in Tampa. So, but besides that, they don't really have anyone at backup. They don't have anyone behind Tom Brady. And if we're being realistic, Tom Brady has 1 year, maybe 2 years. I know we say this a lot, but I'm saying he has 2 years in him. If we're being real, maybe three. Might be able to eke out a third season. So
Choppy third season.
exactly. This is more of it's not really like a long term sign. This is a lease. The Buccaneers are leasing out Tom Brady. And so
Mhm.
you're going to need a guy that can come in and fill a spot and probably want to bring in backup, whether it be a veteran presence, whether it be someone in the draft. And you have a guy who you can bring in behind Tom Brady, learn from Tom Brady for a season or two, and then go out because he's a baller on his own right, and he can go out and he's one of the better quarterbacks in this draft class. This whole lead up is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafting Justin Herbert.
Ooh, wow.
How you like them apples?
I like that. I think that's definitely a possibility. I think I think right now you don't want to piss off Tom Brady. We saw Tom Brady leave New England after all this time
Right.
because of people signing players and talking about trades and stuff like that. I think you don't want to piss Brady off yet. I think you take a quarterback either later or in the draft, or you take one next year in the first round. I think right here they go to protect Brady because he said he might be on his way out, so you don't want him
Mm-hmm.
to go out
No.
injured. So I think
Well,
you
at
have
least unless you're being an a hole like I can be sometimes.
yes. I had Jedrick Wills falling back to 14 to Tampa
Really?
Bay. I I,
Okay.
I I think they go to protect him. I think they'll trade up to protect him. I think they'll be fine at 14 with getting one of those top three tackles. So I think they stay where they are at 14 and draft Jedrick Wills if he's still there, or one of those other top three tackles that are, because one of them's going to be there. So I think one of those
Mm-hmm.
other top three tackles.
I dig it. Let's see. So now we're going to move into number 15.
Ooh, the
And
Broncos pick.
this is the Denver Broncos. And you want to know this is really going to be something that I'm going to be happy to have him as a member of the Denver Broncos moving forward. Jerry Judy, wide
Ooh,
receiver, going to the
yeah, I had
Broncos
that
because
too.
you have a guy, big talent, maybe one of the more underrated young guys in the league. Uh, Not even just him. Deshaun Hamilton is rock solid. Over there, he's a speed guy. He's more of a, I guess, flex slot, whatever you want to call it. He's a good guy that really takes up the middle of the field.
Hmm.
But dude, that really lit the season up, really kind of put the league on notice, if you
Hmm.
will. Cortland Sutton. He's the next Demaryius Thomas. I think he's going to be better than Demaryius Thomas. Demaryius Thomas had a
Hmm.
great tenure in Denver. I would love to see him back. He wants to come back on the Ring of Fame, and I think he deserves it. But Cortland Sutton, man, this dude's first. I remember his first. Drew Lock's first touchdown pass was to Cortland Sutton. This is Cortland Sutton being bodied by a cornerback, reaching out one hand and just making one hell of a snag.
Yeah,
Cortland
that was a
Sutton is
great
going to be
catch.
good, and he could be good for a while. And so, what better way to compliment him? You have Noah Fant, who really shined late in the season once Drew Lock took the helm at quarterback. And so, what better way to have? Imagine this lineup: Noah Fant, Cortland Sutton, Deshaun Hamilton, Jerry Judy, all for this
That's
young
nice.
quarterback in Drew Lock, who has a lot of potential.
It
I think
definitely
that's a
takes a
great
lot
lineup.
of weight away from Drew Lock. He doesn't have to be all the way accurate.
No, there's also not
he
just one guy he can go through. You have four good options that you can go to any play.
and that means that teams are going to start having to have more of those top corners to guard all these top receivers. So that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely scary. I don't think the Broncos are going to be picking at 15. I don't see them sticking here.
Ooh.
I think they're not going to because with the
Think
teams
they
like
move
yeah,
back?
I think they move up.
Move
I
up?
I think there's
Do they
two
take
big.
that 10th spot?
I think they take 10, 9, or 8. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna go somewhere in those three picks. I think right now there's too many teams that need receivers this year,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a really good receivers class. But if you're gonna get a receiver, might as well go all in on a top guy.
Exactly.
Why take the back end receivers when you could take the guys you think are gonna be future Hall of Famer? So
I
I
could,
think
to your credit, I could totally see the Broncos moving because they have 2 third-round picks and 2 fourth-round picks. So that's definitely
yeah
plenty of ammo in the magazine to kind of trade
yeah
the first
just to
rounder
pull
and then
that
give
trigger.
throw in
Yeah.
like a third, throw in the fourth maybe.
Yeah, I think they definitely move up because there's just too many teams that need a receiver, and if you don't move up here, you kind of leave that risk of am I gonna have to take one of those guys that we're not too sure about now? And then you have to start second guessing yourself, and then maybe you make a bad decision because you have to overthink it too much. Especially with how this draft is, people couldn't meet with players really in person. That's gonna affect a lot of stuff. So I think here you go with what you see on film. And so what you see on film is you're gonna have to trade up to try to take a CD or Ruggs or
Hmm.
somebody else might try to trade be Jerry Judy, so he might not be there at 15.
So
So
then who takes his spot from the Broncos then?
I think I see either Browns because they don't need to be up that high, and I see Cardinals right now.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two teams I've seen them being most connected to.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see Cardinals drop back to 15. 15 would be a great pick for them to get somebody like. Oh, I'll talk about it when we get to that pick.
Yep,
But I see them right now. My biggest bet, if I had to put my money on it right now, I would say they move up to 8 with the Cardinals.
for sure.
I don't think they risk waiting that long for Judy,
That's fair.
but I
Number
do see
six.
them
Yep,
taking Judy.
nice. Number 16, the Atlanta Falcons. They did make a splash by taking Todd Gurley in, but I still think they still need a running back right there in the backfield,
Mm-hmm.
and not very many better guys than DeAndre Swift.
Ooh, mm, I don't know. I think they could go running back, but I think right now they still have Ish. They still have Ish back there.
Fish.
Um, so Gurley and Ish can last a year
Also, I
definitely.
don't trust Gurley. Still,
Yeah, health wise, but I feel like you took him on. You gave him a decent sized contract. I think you go somewhere else here. I think they take a Javon Kinlaw. If they don't move up, I do think they'll move up. They're another team looking to move up.
okay.
Um, so I think they move up somewhere. I think it's going to be kind of a mismatch. I think if the Broncos move up with the Cardinals and the Falcons are going to move up with the Browns, I think it's going to be somewhere those four teams are going to be talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think that if they stay here, I think they take Javon Kinlaw. I think that D line would be scary with this. With Javon Kinlaw added there, I think that's a scary D line. I think your running back situation, if Gurley is healthy, which he says he is, the Falcons
Mm-hmm.
said he's in way better shape than he was before. I think that you go defensive line here. I think that you can definitely your linebacking set is pretty good. Your secondary, while there is places you can fix it, is pretty good to where it is. You just kind of defensive scheme needs to be changed there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think you add to that pass rush, give those DBs a chance to make a play with that pass rush going there. So I think you take Javon Kinlaw here at 16 if they stay at 16.
I dig it. So you move on, number 17, the Dallas Cowboys. They have the great guy, DeMarcus Lawrence. They actually have, it hurts to say, they do have, at least on paper, one of the better defenses in the league. So I think they got they got it going on offense because they have
Mm-hmm.
Dak, at least for one season. You have Ezekiel Elliott, who's one of the better running backs in the league. You have one of the better offensive lines in the league. So you got to work on defense a little more. In this situation. And so, how about you get the guy that could line up opposite DeMarcus Lawrence and still cause trouble to the offensive lines around the NFL? You take
Mm-hmm.
LSU's Clavon Chiasen.
Ooh, that's a great pick. I actually had the same exact pick going to
There we
Dallas.
go.
Clavon Chason. That's just a great pick for them. That is a dynamic duo. That is a crazy rushing duo. You can't really put too much pressure on one of them because then you let the
You
other
know,
one loose.
not admittedly, if this happened, will not be as good as Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, but this could be
Not
a
at all.
close second. Could be a close second.
And whoever Chandler Jones gets put across from is always going to be a top
Exactly.
thing. So,
Exactly. It's a
uh,
good pick by them.
just saying, not even being biased here. The Cardinals and the Broncos probably have two of the best pass rushing games in the league.
Oh,
Just
without a
saying.
doubt. Without a doubt. It's not
That
bias.
edge rush
It's
is just crazy.
ooh, Chandler, how's this for a statement? Yeah, slogan. Here we go. This t-shirt's right here, this merch. It's
Mhm.
not bias, it's just facts.
Yeah, that is. When we get to that point, merch will be there, and we will have a couple of great
Hey,
slogans
we
for
get a
you.
trademark. Hey, I gotta start filing for a trademark right now. Damn.
Yeah,
But
you got to
in
follow
the
up for trademark.
meantime,
Somebody's going to steal that one.
right? In the
But
meantime, let's
while we
go.
are talking about the
Oh yeah.
Broncos real quick, I do just
Okay.
want to say we did talk about the Broncos. We did hear today that Von Miller did get tested positive for COVID-19, and we do
Yeah.
want to wish him the
All
best
the best. All the
and
best.
getting through that. I know people just need to stay inside. We don't need this to keep spreading
Stay
and
the
get
hell inside, people.
stay the hell inside. That's going to be on a shirt. Stay the hell inside. But
And
yeah, I wish the best to him and his family, that this doesn't spread to
of
anybody else in his family, and that he gets through this and gets good before season.
of
Just
course.
for his health and for the health of football,
For the health
but
of the league, you got to
more for his health. But
see.
yeah,
Yeah. Moving on to number 18 now. The Miami Dolphins again. They're taking another defensive back. We know that they really solidified their defensive backfield last season. Now this season, back-to-back season, signing a cornerback to the highest, making a quarterback the highest paid quarterback in league history. They're going to take Xavier McKinney, safety.
yeah, out of Alabama, I had the same exact pick here. I think they
You
have
might
to take him.
like what can I say?
Yeah, I think at this point, like I said earlier about the Dolphins, they did get rid of Minka Fitzpatrick. They do need to replace Minka Fitzpatrick. I don't know if Xavier McKinney can do it, but if you're going to have somebody try to replace Minka, might as well have his successor from Alabama, McKinney,
One of the
try
best
to
ones
do it.
to try.
So I think you do it. I mean, my other pick for here would be Grant Delpit. If you think Grant Delpit's the better player, I think you take him instead. But I think it's a toss up between those two. I think they're going to take a safety here. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those two, either McKinney or Delpit. But I definitely think it'll probably be McKinney here at 18.
Number 19 now, the Las Vegas Raiders again. They're going to look to TCU and take Jeff Gladney, cornerback.
Nice, nice. I actually had the same exact thing. Jeff Gladney.
See, they got the receiver earlier. Now that you got to get the opposite side of the football and have the cornerback.
Yeah, I think they definitely have to go defense here because I mean, don't they have Eli Apple? They have Eli Apple,
They
right?
do, but
Yeah,
it's Eli Apple though.
exactly. That's what I was about to say. Is you're gonna kind of need Eli Apple has his moments. Like can be a top corner or he can be one of the worst corners in the league. It's kind of his.
It's
You need
more
another
impressive
guy.
than anything.
You need his. You need him there. Well, wait. What are we talking? Jeff Gladney.
Yes.
I was trying to get his name down. I was about to say
Okay.
Goldney. So I was trying to look back down. It's Jeff Gladney. You need
Said Jeff
Gladney.
Sadney.
No, okay. It's Jeff Saturday.
Jeff Madney.
Jeff Saturday's going back into the draft. He said he wants back in. But I think you take Gladney here because of how inconsistent he can be. Eli Apple can be. You kind of need some guy that you could have there and be a little bit more sure about week in and week out. So I think you'd have to go Jeff Gladney here.
Okay, number 20, the Jacksonville Jaguars again. You said you could go with Grant Delpit to the Dolphins. He goes to the Jags this time. Safety, another some more defensive help in that backfield. The Jags are going to have to re-solidify that defense because they've lost over the last few years, and that's what got them to the AFC Championship game against the Patriots. So let's reload. Let's keep going with that defense because we saw how well it worked out for them when they did have that one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah. And like I said, it's a toss-up between McKinney and Delpit. I think whoever doesn't take McKinney takes Delpit, and whoever doesn't take Delpit takes McKinney.
Yep.
So, and like I said earlier, I think they'll take C.J. Henderson. I think they're trying to reassure that defensive backfield.
just because they did get rid of some good pieces there. I think they take Del Pitt or McKinney here.
Moving on to number 21, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. And they're going to get someone on offense that could actually catch the football.
Oh
Justin
wow,
Jefferson.
Nelson Aguilar the second. I'm kidding. But I think he could be a great fit here. I think they go receiver. They're another team that's been in the talks for trading up. Uh, they're also going to be in a battle. It's going to be a lot of teams battling for the same picks. So I think whoever ends up trading up is going
This
to
is going to be
give
a
up a
fun
lot.
draft,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's some this first round. I think it's going to be a lot more exciting than we think it is, just because a lot of teams want to trade up and a lot of teams want to trade back. And I think with the stacked front half, well, it's a stacked first round no matter what. But I think a lot of people are wanting some of that first 15 pick love. They want a couple of those players. So I think some teams are going to be willing to give up a whole lot, and there's a lot of teams who want a lot of picks. So I think it's going to be a run for who has the biggest balls to throw out picks,
Right?
who believes in those top 15 guys the most. But I definitely think they take Justin Jefferson if they stay at 21. I think they will be in the mix to trade up for one of those guys like CeeDee Lamb or Henry Ruggs or Judy. But let's see when we get to that day, which is only a week away. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Number 22, we have the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings so far in free agency have lost both their starting cornerbacks,
Ouch.
which has to hurt. Trey Waynes and Xavier Rhodes leaving the team for greener pastures. So now, obviously, you got to rebuild that position, big time position. There were two great players, and so you actually have to try to fill the holes, even though that might be very hard to do. But you got to try. You take Christian Fulton to help try to I guess put the little ramen in the hole.
Yeah, whatever that means. But
Wait, they see all those videos like whether they be fake or real, people using top ramen to fill in holes.
Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is a great one. I'm gonna start using that. The ramen in the hole. Sometimes you just gotta put the ramen in the hole, man, and it fixes everything. I think they take Kristen Fulton here. I don't see them trading up. I don't think they really need to. I think they can stay here. I think they should keep as many picks as they can to try to solidify their future, especially since they did trade, which we would get to their next pick later. But I think they take Kristen Fulton here. I think he's a great pick. I think they lost two great guys, so they're going to have to take another corner here at some point. Let's see what they do, though.
So now with 23, we have the New England Patriots.
This is the lowest they've been in a while.
It's weird. It's really weird.
It's weird to see it here.
So right now, in terms of quarterbacks, they say they're going to ride with Jarrett Stidham, and he's gotten the backing of some of the veterans on that team. But you got to bring someone in. I think they go to the draft. I think they go to the draft in the first round, nonetheless. And number 23 overall, I think this guy's going to be a bust, but they're going to take Jordan Love, quarterback at Utah State.
Yeah, I think you bring in Jordan Love too. That's definitely the pick I had here. I don't know if he'll be a bust. I've watched a lot of his play, but it's I don't know if he's proven yet.
We'll see. I don't know if he's proven. Shout out to my best friend Jared Green. My brother plays quarterback at Utah State. Got to represent. And so, he knows Jordan Love, and I try to watch all of his games. So with that, I watch Jordan Love. I've seen Jordan Love in person a number of times now too, because it's only like a 4-hour drive to go from Boise to Logan. And they have a great stadium too, by the way. It's great, especially if made the 5-hour drive, went all the way to BYU, which was one hell of a game. The Utah State really beat up on BYU. Got the wagon wheel. That was fun to watch. But what worries me about Jordan Love is that when he's good, he's good. But he had a fairly high number of interceptions. And also, you could watch on the film. You could watch it live. You could watch it in person. He had something like 30 other passes that were either tipped or dropped or could have been intercepted. And to me,
getting some Jameis Winston vibes here?
Well, I'm getting at least Jameis Winston can back up and throw a lot more touchdowns.
That's true.
That's the problem. I think there's too big of a turnover problem with Jordan Love.
I don't think they pick 23. I think they drop back. I think somebody trying to get back into the first round for another pick, most likely.
Okay.
I see them if they stick here. I think they take Jordan Love just because the other guys that you can take here are just as questionable. You
Mhm.
don't really know what they're gonna do. I see them dropping back and taking somebody later on,
Like
and
Jake Fromm.
Jake Fromm exactly.
Oh, put the words into your mouth, dude.
I
We're
think
we're just on that level.
yeah, I think they trade back and take Jake Fromm in the later round.
Jake from
Um,
State Farm.
Jake from State Farm. I think he's the most
That
dominant
dude,
character.
that commercial, that brand deal, that sponsorship from State Farm is so set up perfectly. Jake from State Farm. That
Yeah,
that's
Jake Fromm.
Perfect.
It's
That's
amazing.
has to. He's gonna make a
I
lot of money selling insurance. Good for him.
I think the Patriots trade back and take Jake Fromm just to try to get around Cam Newton's rules. Cam
Mhm.
Newton said he wouldn't sign anybody who drafts a first round quarterback. But
Hey,
if they drop back and take a second round quarterback, they didn't lie.
bro, leave it to Bill Belichick to find the loophole in something.
He's going to try to find a loophole here. I think he's trying to reset for the future. I think Belichick's trying to reset. So I think he drops back, gets some more capital, draft capital, makes some moves, gets the quarterbacks he wants at the same time, gets a couple more players and a couple more, stalkers
Yeah.
to join that team and become Hall of Famers. But I think they trade back. But I think if they stay here, you kind of have to take the guy that you're going to be most certain about, which is
Mhm.
Jordan Love.
Here we go. Number 24 now, we have the New Orleans Saints. They're going to help secure that defense. They're going to take Patrick Queen, linebacker, out of LSU.
I think that was a great pick. I think it's the best pick they've taken since the imaginary girlfriend guy, Manti Te'o, went over there. I know he didn't get drafted there, but he
Wait,
did
did
end
you
up going
hear?
to the
His
Saints.
his
What?
girlfriend came down with Corona.
Damn, bro. Shout out to Manti Te'o and his translucent girlfriend.
It's a skin condition, man.
It's a skin condition. You can't see anything on her. But
You say he's dating John Cena?
yeah. So I love that cannot be stopped. Star-crossed lovers. But I think it would be a great pick for them to kind of get a linebacker here. I think their linebacking core is good, but I think this is like a talent you
Could be
can't
better.
pass on here. Yeah, it could be better. I feel like that's probably one of their biggest holes on their defense is their linebackers. So I think definitely you go with the linebacker here. Try to add some attitude to that defense. He's kind of a hype guy. So adding that kind of pump to
It
that
doesn't hurt to
defense.
grab an LSU guy because they're a championship team. They got that championship chip on their shoulder, which
Yeah.
is something the Saints have been lacking the last few playoffs.
Nah, they've been lacking good calls, but I think they go with Queen here. Queen's
Okay.
definitely a great pick for them here.
Here we go. We got the Vikings up again, and so far in this NFL, I guess in the season they've lost a couple of cornerbacks in free agency. They've traded away a big wide receiver in Stephon Diggs. So now they kind of drafted their quarterback, trying to fill in that hole. Now they draft Denzel Mims to refill the hole in the wide receiver.
Yeah, I think you have to. I think that's kind of at this position right here. If you don't take a guy earlier, which I don't think they should, I feel like with that earlier pick, if they don't take a corner, they're going to miss out. So I think definitely you go with Denzel Mims back here because you kind of need both those picks because you need both of these guys. So I think Denzel Mims would probably be the best best receiver pick for that spot. I think that's the best you can do there. So I definitely think that can happen. Denzel Mims, 25 to the Vikings.
Here we go. Next at 26,
Welcome
we
back.
have welcome back Dolphins for the third time.
Yeah.
I'm saying Dolphins, and one of my predictions, Dolphins are going to be a playoff team this year, especially with the expanded playoffs. But here we go. At number 26 overall, interior offensive lineman from Michigan, Cesar Ruiz is going to the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh.
Cup offensive lineman and a safety in this first round.
I think right here, if they do earlier, they go with Tua, like most people think they will if they aren't skeptical about him. I think now you have to protect him. I think at this point you have to protect the new quarterback, and you go with Josh Jones off the tackle.
Jones. Okay.
I think you have to protect your new quarterback if you are so uncertain about him, but you know you need the guy. You take him and then you buy him some protection. I think right here they used their pick on Josh Jones. I think they waited instead of taking with the last pick that they had, their second pick. I think they come back here and they take a guy to protect him in Josh Jones. I think
Well,
that'd be a great move for them.
we were close with this guy because at 27 with the Seattle Seahawks, Josh Jones goes to the Seattle Seahawks. You've had Russell Wilson running his ass off the last
Yeah.
2-3 seasons because he's had no help up front. And a guy
Lamar
like Josh
Jackson better
Jones,
be glad that they don't count if you run in a circle as yards.
right?
Russell Wilson be right on his ass.
Oh, if you could just count, if you could count lateral movement is yards, Russell Wilson would be in the 10,000s by now.
Yeah, by now he'd definitely be
So-
the NFL's
Mhm.
league leading quarterback as a
So I
rookie.
agree. Both these teams should take offensive line. It's a smart move by Seattle. They have a lot of other pieces, but they need to shore up that front line.
I think, I had opposite. I had Josh Jones, I had Josh Jones going 26,
Mhm.
and I had Isaiah Wilson going
Okay.
right here at 27.
Okay.
I don't think I think the Dolphins like Josh Jones better than they like Isaiah Wilson. I think it's kind of a toss up, just like we were talking about the safeties earlier. And I think this could switch back and forth. I think both of them are taking a tackle, but I have Isaiah Wilson going 27 to the Seahawks.
All right. Here we go. Number 28, the Baltimore Ravens. They are going to take former Oklahoma Sooner linebacker Kenneth Murray to really shore up that
not
defense.
Kyler Murray.
No,
Not Kyler
Kenneth.
Murray.
This is Kenneth Murray. This
I
is
got an argument
this
with the
is-
guy before.
no, you're kidding me. No, this is Kyler if he had a more formal name. Kenneth Murray.
Yes, this is Kyler's name fully filled out. Kenneth Murray. He will be playing for 2 teams this year.
At
But,
two different positions in
Kenneth
2 different
Murray-
conferences.
Yeah, Kenneth Murray, linebacker out of Oklahoma, will definitely be a great addition here. There's kind of some uncertainty about him, but he's definitely a first round talent. You know,
Mhm.
we don't know if he can 100% cover in space yet. I think that with some training and a lot of those guys that he'll be around, I think he'll definitely learn something really quick. But I think he's definitely going to be a great addition to that defense. Kenneth Murray at 28 to the Ravens. I think that would definitely be a great pick for them.
Number 29, we have the Tennessee Titans now up on the board. And
I think he has second best name in the draft.
who, Kenneth?
Yeah, no, Uter.
Uter.
Yeah. That's who I have going here, by the way. My bad, I kind of skipped
Okay.
ahead.
you good. But the Tennessee Titans now, earlier this offseason, they traded their defensive tackle, Jarrell Casey, who might not have been big on stats, but he's a solid guy, a versatile guy that did a lot for the Titans. Sorry, defensive tackle. My bad. Thank you, Jalen. But he's a very versatile guy, and so there's a hole to fill now. So that's why you go over to the South Carolina Gamecocks and you take interior defensive lineman Javon Kinlaw.
I had him going earlier. That's one reason I wouldn't put him here. But
That's
that's definitely a great pick. I think you go with the second best name in the draft. We'll get to the first best name in the draft after we finish this first round. But Uter Gross Matos, I believe is how you pronounce it. Uter Gross Matos. Yeah, but I think he's a great player. Other than having a great name, I think he's definitely a great talent. I think he's going to be a pretty force to be reckoned with coming out. I think he's actually I think he's kind of underrated a little bit. I think teams are kind of looking past him, but I think he's definitely one of the best pass rushers in this draft, other than the top guys like Young. But I think he's definitely one of the best guys to add to your team as an edge. I think if the Titans can get him, they can kind of, if they make that reach and get that Jadeveon Clowney, I think this could definitely be a move for them at the 1-2 combo with Jadeveon Clowney and Uter. That'd be great.
Be absolutely phenomenal. 2 former Gamecocks as well.
Yeah.
Got reunited. Move on to number 30. We have the Green Bay Packers. Another TCU guy is going to be taken in the first round, and this is Jalen Rieger, wide
Ooh.
receiver out of TCU, going to help to give us another weapon, another option to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, yeah, I think you gotta have to. They said the Packers might move up. I don't see it happening. I've
There's no
heard that the
need, to
Packers
be
might. Yeah,
honest.
there's no need to. They need a guy, but they don't need to waste picks on trying to move up. I think Jalen Rieger would be definitely a great guy. He's a fast guy. I think you kind of need a guy to take the roof off. If they're so worried about Jalen Rieger going deep, then you kind of leave space for Devontae Adams to get open. So
Mm-hmm.
I think Rieger could definitely take the lid off defenses. I think he'll be a great pick here at 30.
Here we go, number 31. The Niners originally, you were thinking they go wide receiver early.
Yeah.
I said they go quarterback early, and now they wait until late in the first round to take wide receiver now. And they're going to go with Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, Brandon Ayuk.
Ayuk,
Actually,
thank you.
Ayuk.
Thank you, Jalen. I appreciate it.
He's actually a Sierra guy.
Oh, really? Oh, so you
Yeah,
gotta know. You gotta know.
Yeah, he's Sierra guy. He also played for ASU, so he's on the right
Oh,
path.
Bro,
he's on the
like
path
hitting
I
all
would
your
have
check
taken.
marks. Is
Yeah,
if
on
only he
my
went to the Cardinals, right?
Yeah, if he was go to the Cardinals, which he's actually, if the Cardinals trade back and don't take a receiver, he's actually one of the options for
That'd
them.
be amazing.
He'd check all the boxes for me if he goes from Sierra to ASU and then finishes off being a Cardinal. That'd be my dream path.
Be unreal.
Yeah, I have them taking the first guard in the draft in Cesar Ruiz. I think he'll be a great pick here. I think he's versatile. I'm pretty sure they said he could play center from what I've seen, center and
He
guard.
can. Yeah, he played mostly center in Michigan.
Yeah, he played mostly center. I flipped it. He plays center, but I've heard that he can also play guard pretty well. So I think that'll definitely be a great look for them. If they're thinking Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the one, you can't let him get injured again. I think you need to protect him. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is the one as of right now.
No,
it's
he's
really a
not.
problem with us, but I think that you protect him. If you think he's your future, you protect him. So Cesar Ruiz.
Here you go. Rounding out the first round of the 2020 NFL Draft and rounding out our mock draft for tonight. This is the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to add to the offense with this one.
Yep.
They're going to get another guy that can really add. He's going to fit right in terms of the speed that they got going on in the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
So they're going to go to Ohio State and take J.K. Dobbins, running back.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a great addition to that team. Really help just still go with the 4-4 track time or whatever. Just a bunch of Olympic sprinters on that team. And here we go. Here's another one that fits the mold of the Kansas City Chiefs.
I had a guy. He's actually pretty quick himself too. He actually, it's in his name. We have DeAndre Swift going 32.
Okay.
I think he's going to be the last running back to go before the J.K. Dobbins and Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
I think those guys are definitely better, but I think with the play style of the Chiefs, you have to take the fast guy.
Personally, I think the best running back in this is Taylor. I think he was the best running back. I don't think enough people respected him for the performance, the absolute dominance he was putting on for Wisconsin last season.
Yeah. And
it was unreal. And the season before. It just comes to fit at some points.
Yeah. I'm hoping the Cardinals trade back and get a second round pick so we can take whichever one doesn't go and J.K. Dobbins and Jonathan Taylor. I really want not quarterback. I really want a running back. So I hope one of those two falls into the second round and we trade back and get a second round pick to get one of those two. Right now for the Cardinals at running back, I think that there's a couple of guys we could take. There's Cam Akers. There's Eno Benjamin at ASU. There's also, what is his name, out of Utah, Zach. I forget his last name. No, it's not Morris, is it?
No, it's Moss. It's Zach
Moss. Moss, yes, it is. Zach Moss. Also want the Cardinals to take Thaddeus Moss, tight end out of LSU. And then my last big pick that I want for the Cardinals is, it's more of a personal thing.
But it's also we do need it. I do want the Cardinals to take, if he's there available in the 5th or 6th round. I want the Cardinals to take cornerback out of Nebraska, Lamar Jackson. That is actually one of my big hopes this year. I know he's a lower draft pick right now, but he's from
You're
Frank.
mad you can't have the real Lamar Jackson.
What? Nah. Lamar Jackson from Sacramento, bro. We gotta have the sack boy on the Cardinals.
That's fair.
So I'm hoping he gets there, and also not just because he's a sack boy, but that guy's a dog. That dude plays. Like they try to say he was slow just because he ran a slower 40 than you would like, but that dude's a dog. So I hope the Cardinals get them.
That's very fair.
Is there any other later picks that you kind of hope for the Broncos?
To be honest, I would love, in the perfect world, I think, man, if the Broncos could have 2 first-round draft picks, I'd be so happy because I would love them to get either Tristan Wirfs or Mekhi Becton and a wide receiver. Probably not going to happen. I guess it'd be, to be honest, I'd rather them get offensive linemen to replace Garrett Bowles there on the left side because I don't like having a guy that averages at least 1 holding penalty a game. Just personal preference. Don't like that. Just not my style.
I mean, only one. That's it. Only one. It's only one. It's only what? It's 10 yards a game.
I think they can get some in the second round. I think my biggest takeaway from this first round is it's going to be a big toss up between. I don't know if there's going to be more wide receivers taken or if there's going to be more offensive linemen, more specifically offensive tackles taken. Those are the 2 hottest positions in this first round. There's going to be a couple quarterbacks taken as well. There's going to be a few. But I think the most important position in this first round is the offensive tackles.
And the receivers, I think, is kind of... I think the receivers is going to be the big thing. I think the receivers are going to cause most of the trades.
Yes.
And that's going to affect where the linemen go. I think the linemen overall are going to be like the biggest commodity in the first round. But I think the big trades that are going to happen are going to be receiver, and those are going to affect which teams are taking linemen. But I think the receivers are going to kind of shape how this draft goes, just because there's teams that need receivers, and I think it would be less trades if we had a normal process like we usually have, with everyone only being able to do FaceTime.
It's not though,
and stuff like that. People are having to rely on just film, and so there's not really going to be those. Like, there's going to be less chances of, okay, this guy is kind of a hidden gem because you don't really get to meet him. You can't really see the stuff in person. So I think the reason a lot of teams are going to panic to move up is because you're going to kind of have to go off of film. And so the guys with the best film are going to be taking the top 15. So everyone's going to start swarming for that top 15.
Exactly.
So
the 2020 NFL draft is going to be formed, is going to be shaped by the landing spots of the wide receivers. But the biggest spot, the most important spot in this is going to be those offensive tackles.
Yeah, I think those tackles are definitely going to.
I think so. I believe so with that one. But there we go. That is the inaugural 4th and long mock draft. We gave you guys what is guaranteed to happen in the in the first round. Guaranteed. It's not a prediction. It's a spoiler. It's not biased. It's just facts. Thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, you can catch us out on our website, www.thefourthandlong.com, Twitter, the Fourth Long Radio, Instagram, all that fun stuff, YouTube, Spotify, almost any other podcasting platform you could really think of, Anchor as well. We're there. We're pretty much everywhere. Pretty much everywhere. We're there. You can't escape us because we're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
We're in your dreams.
Man, but that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for listening once again. Check us out everywhere else, and we will catch you guys in episode 33 of the 4th and Long podcast.